Well, hello. Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to You Can't Do That on Salesforce. And welcome to another edition of the Inefficient Icon Inventory. And what are we going to do today? First, I'm going to fix my hair. Okay, that's done. Next, I'm going to let the world know that we are live. And then we're going to get after some work here. Oops, what am I doing? Let's see. The plan today is to take a look at HTML Canvas and see if and how it plays nicely or not with Lightning Web Components. I was driving to a meeting last week and I had this thought like rendering right now is kind of a struggle on the for the icon layout to get all those pixels laid out and people clicking on them. There's a lot of records, which data might be another conversation that we can explore a little bit today. But I was also curious, like, I wonder if an HTML canvas would make this any better. And I don't know what the answer is. That's as far as I went. I know like this much about HTML Canvas. I think I can learn enough quickly with you all on screen today to be dangerous. But we'll see where it goes. You know, that's kind of the beauty of the stream is let us see where all this will take us. Let's let the world know that we're live and we'll get going on this. So just tell the tweets and such that we are up and running. Live with the inefficient icon inventory. Hashtag Salesforce at stuff things boop and I'll just mention Twitch too, I guess. Sure. There we go. Let's see if that gets the point across. And we'll send that right now. There we go. All right. Let's do stuff. Here's our project. Here's our org. Here's our app. We sort of left this in I think a little bit of a rough state last week. I think it's rendering, but boy is it a little slow. And are we on, let's see, I just want to refresh this. Is this, okay, this is on Winter 23 now. So I can't remember if last week we were also on Winter 23. But we'll see how this goes. In fact, I can't really actually remember if we, oh, yep, okay. So we were trying to pan and zoom in the box. What we were able to accomplish was getting it to fit the box, but not necessarily zoom around yet. So that I don't know if what do you call it? HTML Canvas is really going to solve that either. But I thought it was worth a wonder. So let's see here. Pause for dramatic product placement. Okay. We got a component in here, renders a bunch of pixels, lets us click on them, change the colors. We took our color picker off, but that's okay. We've got it in this box. I would love, so the good news is it's, what do you say, masked to the box. So I kind of want to use that as a viewfinder. I would love to be able to drag this thing around now. And I have no idea how to do that. So, what needs JavaScript drag, drag child in parent container? How use a child element to drag a parent element? Not exactly. Use a child element, no. Drag child element automatic. How to implement drag and drop. So dragging child, parent child, dragging, drag and drop. How to make drop fall through to parent. Flex end breaks dragging. How about just drag and drop? Or not even drag and drop. Like, how about like move element on screen on drag? JavaScript use drag to move element. Yeah. What year is this from? (2017). Okay, so not do by code. Here's your code. Below is another way of doing so. Offset. It feels so old. And maybe because this is 2017, it is old. It just seems like there's got to be a better way to make a... Nope, that's even older. That's 2016. How to drag an element. This is from 2021. Maybe this is a little more modern. Thanks, Tony Lee. He looks super happy. That's cool. Glad he's having a good day. Yes, do that. Do this thing right here. Make that do that. Post image. Okay, container and box. Yep. Is the container. Let's see. This might be exactly what we need. I know we were talking about canvas, but I feel like no matter what we do, I still need this draggable situation to work. So let's play with this for for a hot second before we get into the HTML canvas stuff. Maybe we'll save that for the second part of the show. But this looks really promising. So here's the CodePen example. Oops. It doesn't do much right now because, okay. Doesn't do much right now because we need to add the functionality to move the box inside our container. So let's do that. But let's go back real quick here. So a container with a size, position relative, overflow hidden. That sounds really familiar. Let's see. Where's our component? Icon display. Overflow class. Let's look at the CSS. Width and height. We put a border on it. Overflow hidden. They added position relative. So let's, okay, I'll play along. Let's do that. Position relative. Let's save and refresh and make sure that actually works. I'll do that in the background and we'll keep reading. So then the box, that's the thing inside the thing. Width, height, top, top and left. Let's refresh here. Make sure we're still looking okay. And of course, that's going to take a second to load. All right, so they're positioning this, which is what we are containing, positioning icon flex in an absolute setting. Okay, our thing still loads and looks okay, so that's good. We are not doing that. Let's do a little bit of mojo here. Let's steal some of this. Position absolute. I don't want to set a background yet because that will be confusing. Now, what I'm curious is, can I almost feel like I need one more, like I'm going to change some names here too, because this is the container, right? So we'll call this the container. It's really the viewfinder, right? I'll call this the viewfinder. Viewfinder? View box? Viewer? I don't know. View. Let's call it view. And then we're going to make one called, let's see, dot view. And then inside that, then I think I'll put a container in here. this will be position absolute. I'm thinking that I put my Flexbox thing inside the container. Let's see what happens with that. Looks like we show a different cursor when we're on top of that. That's fine. And we'll go back here. Okay, save that. Meanwhile, we've got our contain. No, this is view. Another div. This is the one we're going to drag around. And hopefully, our other div will live inside of that, play nice, and something like that. For now, I think I will give container a background. I'll just steal the colors that they're using over here. So they're doing everything like this. Let's just steal it all. So we should end up with in the view box, which is 200 by 200, we should end up with a blue box that is 50 pixels offset and is a height and width of 50. And maybe my stuff is contained within it. I don't know. We're going to find out. Let's let that reload. Okay. Hey. All right, we're 50. Yes, we're 50 pixels off. We got a little scrolly doodle thing there. The good news is, even though I said this was going to be 50 pixels by 50 pixels, because the child component is larger, it's kind of scaling out the way we'd expect it. So this is good news. This is actually better than I thought this was going to be. It also tells me we don't need a background here. I'm going to leave the height and width because I just wonder if the container needs some dimensions before we put the other thing in it. The other thing we're doing dynamically, if I remember, is setting our width for icon flex here, because we don't know the width until, well, I take that back. We know the width of the icon. We probably might need to set the height too. The height, I feel like, is being pushed courtesy of the just by the Flexbox doing its thing. But okay, this is good. This is good news. I want to do one more thing before we get way down in this. Let's set the width to 300 because that should still mask because our icon is 400 pixels wide. So I just want to sort of, I guess, prove to myself that will indeed continue to work as expected. And then we'll see if we can get this thing dragging. And then we'll see if we can replace it with canvas instead of just CSS. And if there's any advantage, okay, cool. Doing what we thought, 200 by 300 and 400. And it's interesting that this is 400 by 100, but it's not quite, am I looking at it right? It's not quite centered, but that's okay. I'm not going to, it could be, you know what, it could be the, I wonder if the border is messing with my eyeballs, but anyway, close enough, better than what we were expecting. Okay, that's our container structure. Does the whole thing, the whole icon has the move icon over it. This is going to be interesting. Like, how do we, I can still click, but the crosshair is kind of getting in the way of my clicking. So we might need like a paint mode and a move mode. Aha, now we're getting really clever. All right, hopefully this rest of this article is the holy grail that we're looking for, and we're going to be able to start dragging this thing. Adding the drag functionality. I think it would be helpful if I show you the full JavaScript code to apply this functionality, and then we break it apart. Here is the code you can use to move the box element around the container element. Okay. And look at that. You can move it off screen even. Not outside the not all the way outside, but this is exactly what we need. And then we need to zoom it, but that's another story. Okay. He breaks it down. I'm going to pretend like I'm smart enough to know what this all means and try to break it down myself. Let's see. So we're selecting a component. We've got some variables for positioning, where we started and where we ended. Okay. When the user clicks down on the element, right, we're going to give it a function. Starting position is where it is. We're going to attach the mouse move listener. And we're also going to attach the mouse up, or add a listener for mouse up, which will also add a remove call for the mouse move. Okay. Groovy. What is mouse move now? So these are global, are they? Yeah, these are global variables, which I think is okay. Again, this might be interesting how we get this working in LWC. So hopefully instead of document.querySelector, document.addEventListener, I feel like this is where we may need to translate into LWC, because I don't know if I can actually access the document at that level, nor would I really want to. I kind of want to keep it in my template. So I wonder if template.querySelector, that's definitely a thing we can do. We can access components like that. But then to add these event listeners, that might be kind of interesting. Well, it's probably fine on the element, right? The move event on the document, that I'm not sure about. Okay, we'll mess with that in a minute. Mouse move is basically just saying, hey, take where you started when you clicked down, and then adjust the new position relative to that. And then we set the, let's see. Okay, then we just do an offset for the top and the left of that component. Offset top. Okay, offset top is a property that we can just access, and then the calculation to the new position. Each time we move, we want to update the start and the X, or the start X and Y. Right, where were we just? Okay, so I'm going to just steal this, and let's see how we do. I got it again. Thank you so much, Tony Lee, for your for your help. And I'm going to grab this and put it in the notes here, so that in the event that we actually get this working, I can say thanks to Tony. Thanks, Tony, for your reference. That's kind of all I need for now. I just want to move this around in the box, and let's see how we can turn this into that. So first we need to know about the element that we're dragging, which is our container. Whoops. Let's get rid of icon pixel batch. That's for another. We got to get that working too. But for now, this is what I want. So where do I want to attach this? I'm thinking that I'm going to create a container element property. I don't know if I can do this in connected callback. I feel like I need to do this in rendered callback, I think, to make sure that it's actually been rendered. I'm also curious if I need to keep calling that every time we try to access it. I'm not doing any. I'm able to call this in different events later. I don't think I can call it during connected callback because I just don't think anything's been rendered to the page. So let's try this. Let's let this dot container element equals this dot query selector dot container. I also wonder if we want to say, whoops, I don't know if we want to have to fire this every single time, so I'm just going to say if this dot container element, I guess if not, this dot container element, then let's go grab it. Let's see if this does anything and if we can actually get to it. My theory here is, okay, container element doesn't exist yet until rendered callback. I think we could try it in connected callback just to see if that's the case, but I think that's the case. I hopefully only want to reference it once, but rendered callback fires as things re-render. I don't know how much re-rendering we're really doing because we're not doing anything that changes anything in the hierarchy here. We're just rendering when we're initialized. We're not re-rendering container because even if we were adjusting all the pixels, they would happen at a lower level, and we're also just acting upon the individual pixels down here. So my whole point is I hope that I can get this reference once and not need it again, because rendered callback's gonna. I also want to see if rendered callback just keeps getting called and called and called and called, and make sure that we're not kind of just having a performance issue because of that. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, so now we have that. Let's get our, you know what, I'm probably gonna have to refresh again because I did not have, well, actually, let's see. Will it show me my sources? Yes, okay. So icon display, connect rendered callback. We kind of missed our first shot at that, so let's refresh this and actually find out when is it actually getting called and how often. Okay, so it got called. Did it get? Are we paused here? I think I'm paused. Oh, just kidding. Okay, there it goes. So it did pause in. Yeah, can I do that again? I set my breakpoint, but it didn't actually hit it. It hit it at the right time. It hit it when I hoped it would. So it hasn't fired yet. It's going and getting the data, waiting for all of the stuff to come back, and then it's gonna start rendering itself here, hopefully in a second. Okay, so here we are. Container element is null. Do we have this template.query selector? Can we get at the container? It appears that we can. I don't know what's in the proxy, but sure. Yeah, I don't even think that's. I'm so lost right now. Okay, we've got that. So let's set our property to the container element. Okay, and then I just want to see if I click on something, does rendered callback fire again? It does not. And we're not really doing anything. I don't think we're going to be doing anything to this component that's going to force it to re-render. I don't think. So, but we should maybe be good. All right, let's go back to Tony. What did Tony do? Tony added an event listener for on mouse down. I wonder if we even need to do that programmatically. Can I just add a mouse down on the component itself? Let's try that. Maybe we don't need to attach it this way. We can probably attach some of the. Maybe we don't even. Maybe we can just do all of these. Well, we only want mouse move to fire when we're in a mouse down state. So I guess adding that event listener in that way probably makes sense. Assuming we can just add it to the component. Usually with this kind of stuff, I start by just making it write out really dumb stuff to the console to see if it's actually working. So let's see how much we can attach here. So can we say this dot container element, whoops, dot add event listener. Mouse down, pass it a function. Let's just write to the log. Mouse down. Can you just do that? Oops. What did we do wrong? Oh. Syntax. Okay. This really has nothing to do with the Lightning Web Component itself, but we're going to have to wait for this to load each time. Oh, cannot read properties of null. Reading add event listener. Okay. Oh, well, wait. So if container element is, if that doesn't exist, and, oops. Let's check that too. In fact, I'll be a little more explicit here. We'll say this dot container element. Let's just make this null, so we know what value it has. So if this is null, and this I believe. So what we could, let's do this. Let's in connected callback. Let's add another breakpoint if it'll let me. And I want to test that it. Well, actually, that's weird. Wouldn't it? I'm gonna debug. I don't know why it's hitting here. There must be another rendered call that's happening. That doesn't really explain why we got stuck here. I mean, I get that this is apparently null at some point. Let's if this is not null, try this. Hopefully this just puts up the guardrails we need so that we avoid that error. Container element null. And is this not null? Okay, that's not null. So then we should step in here. Add the event listener. Okay, we got it. Now, are we actually able to listen for it? Mouse down. Mouse down. Amongst many other things that are happening. Mouse down. Mouse down. Mouse down. Okay, we got mouse down. Now let's see if we can also attach mouse move to the document. JavaScript mouse move event on element. Mouse move event is fired at an element when a pointing device is moved while the cursor's hotspot is inside it. So I'm going to try to, instead of, this is attaching it to the document, I'm going to try to attach it to our element and see what happens there. Can I use that notation? Where'd you go? Connected callback. I always forget the arrow notation, so we want to, let's see, for the function, it's going to be E, right? Point that to that. Am I doing that right? I think I'm doing that right. I think once we're inside of here, am I going to lose my, I think I'm going to lose my this context. So I gotta fix that. Or we're not going to be able to, we're not going to know what element we're pointing at. Oops. Dogs gotta come in. And let's not give him the electrical cord. There we go. Oh, hey, cutes. Welcome back. Okay, let's, let me make sure I'm, yeah, I can use arrow notation, right? The event. Yes, we'll just do this. So E and then, yeah. E. There's the event, and we'll point at our, there we go. Okay, hopefully we don't lose our context. So we'll keep the mouse down in there. Let's also, I'm going to try to add an event listener for move, mouse move. And that is going to have another function that's part of it. Let's call this mouse down event. We'll call this one mouse move event. Okay. We have another function to pass there. We'll do mouse move. This one's going to flood the console. Well, actually, hopefully it floods the console. And then we also want to do a, we also want to add a mouse up so we can cancel out the remove the mouse move listener. So there's mouse up event. Okay, and then we'll say mouse up, and then we'll remove our original listener. Remove the mouse move. Okay. Let's see how we did. I'm not completely confident that this is going to work. All right, saved, refresh. Okay. Let's see. Still loading. Did I break anything? No. Okay. We've got, I'm going to step through this real slow. We'll put a couple of, actually, we don't really even need the breakpoints in there because they'll let us know. But, okay, so that is not empty. We find our component, we assign it. We had a bunch of listeners here. Let's see if we step through all of that. How did we do? Mouse down. It attached the mouse move, but it's also going to attach our mouse up, if I had to guess. So let's see. We might get a move in the console, and then we should also get an up right away. Oops. I'm doing this off to the side as if all of you can see it, and I'm depriving you all of the wonders of the Google Chrome console, and that's not fair. Let's pop this down in the corner so I can actually click on it later. Okay, so we're mouse downing, and we hit go. Now we did not mouse up, so that's interesting. Should we have? Let's see. Did we get any console errors with that? We didn't get any errors. It just looks like it didn't, plain old didn't work. All right. I'll drop a few more breakpoints in here. So there's mouse down. We add mouse move. We also add mouse up. And then we remove mouse move. So I think we should get I wonder if we're just getting if it's happening so fast that we're not actually seeing the effect of the mouse up. But it looks like it's attaching it. I can't tell if it's unattaching it. I'm gonna do a drag now, and let's see what. Down, move, up. Okay, there goes mouse up. Cool. I recognized it. Did a lot of mouse up, which is interesting. Probably because we... oh, that's it. Yeah, okay. So I wonder if we should only attach... Is that what... Did I just read that wrong? I think we should only attach the mouse up listener when we're moving. Because it looks like if you just do a click, it attaches mouse up, but you don't move, so it doesn't attach the, it's like it never knows. We don't get around to the point of saying, hey, well, actually, let's see. That might not be it. I wonder if we're constantly attaching mouse up, and maybe what we need to do is have mouse down, add it, mouse up, remove it, and we can add this listener at a higher level. Like I need mouse down. I need mouse down and up to be attached. So if instead of saying here, let's see, add event listener, right? Let's add them both. We'll add mouse down here. When we down, we attach move. When we're up, we remove move. Let's see how that works. And then we look at our phone, which okay, that is saved. Let's refresh. Loading, loading, loading. This is why we want to figure out if we can make the component load a different way. Unless I've actually broken something and I just don't realize it. Nope. Nope, it's just frozen. My test is always like, hey, can I double click anything? Because right now that component is just crushing the browser window. Whew, man. There are a couple of error bugs in here. Is there? I'm not sure if that was from us. Oh, there it goes. Okay, where are we? That was weird. Did we hit a breakpoint? Hard to tell. Hard to tell where we are right now. Okay, there. All right. Whew. We're alive. Now, let's see. Anything in the console yet? Nope. So I'm going to do a click. That should give us a down and an up. And it did. Okay. Now I'm going to click. I'm going to down, drag, and up. So down, drag, up. What did we get? Wow. We got... So I actually got the move. That's interesting. Is it watching our move? Oops. Yeah, I think our move is, let's see, our move remains attached for whatever reason. Let's see. If I put this somewhere that maybe we can see it. I think our move event is already attached. And isn't, yeah, look at that. Whee, look at the numbers go. Okay, we don't want that. We don't want it reacting to move unless we're down. So where did we end up here? On down, add move. on up, remove move, doesn't seem like it hit that. I'm going to do a down and an up again. Yeah, we're still... Okay, now we got it, right? So we're good there. Let's clear this. But no, we're moving again. That's... All right, it doesn't register when we're not on it, so that's good news. But it definitely registers it when we are, regardless of whether we've removed it or not. Okay. Well, let's see. Are we getting here? Oh, darn it. I pushed the wrong refresh. So it seems like our remove event listener isn't removing it, actually. I would expect to be able to click, drag, and register, and then mouse up, and then no more, nothing more written. But I don't, that definitely does not seem to be the case here. Okay, there we go. Now let's wander through this again a little bit. So the good news is in LWC land, these event listeners are working against our components as expected. There's nothing weird about LWC that prevents us from doing normal old school JavaScript stuff. My problem here is not an LWC issue. It's a Tom's not very smart at this stuff issue, but that's okay. We're going to figure this out. So let's see. We are, all right. We're moving over the element. We're not registering anything because we have not added our event listener yet. I want to be able to mouse down, move, mouse up, and have that event listener removed. That's everything that should have happened there. Back in my browser, however, I still have that mouse move event listening. I wonder why. Maybe it's because of the reference. Perhaps we need to actually add a reference to a function so that it knows what is being added and what is being removed in those cases. Or perhaps the mouse up does belong in the down event. Maybe that's what's throwing things off. Let's go back to that, because perhaps that was working just fine. So within mouse down, we create our mouse move. See, that I think that's the issue. It doesn't know what to remove, because when we remove the event listener, we need to also tell it what to remove. And in this case, they're both referencing the same function. So I think we want to do something like, maybe something like this. Right? Let's say handle mouse down move equals all right, so then we can say on mouse move, we do on mouse move, we are just calling Oh, and then we need to, right, we need to pass, let's pass an event in there. So let's see, mouse move is going to be this dot, I think we need to pass the method, not actually call it. And then next to that, within mouse down, we'll I just don't, I think what's going to happen though is I'm going to end up with multiple listeners again. So let's, we'll do this here, right? Let's say mouse up and then remove mouse move, and that is what it's referencing. So hopefully because this has the same reference, maybe we'll actually get it removed now. Let's see. A little deeper than my area of expertise, but we're going to figure it out. Or we'll watch the browser save and hope for the best. Taking a second. Taking a lot of seconds. Jeez, what's going on? There we go. Okay. I'm at the whim of the speed of the internet, I guess, right now, or at least the speed of Salesforce. Okay. Did I do that? All right, just watching the call. I think we got all our the calls happen pretty quick. While I'm just going to vamp here with some browser data while the component tries to render. And that comes in fairly quick. You know, we call this execute, this Apex action execute is our call to get our data back, which we do, I think, 10 of those. That makes sense, from 24 to 35. Well, no, not exactly. Anyway, each of these has a payload of data that comes back, and then now it's all back. So those don't take, oh geez, stop showing me all that stuff. Those don't take a ton of time, but it's the rendering inside the browser that is quite a bit. 67 megabytes of resources too. That's crazy. Where's all that coming from? I mean, a lot of it's cached, I guess, but wow. So we get out here and took almost a minute. You know, this is, well, you've got to find a better way to render this component if we want it to kind of perform to any extent. Okay, meanwhile, let's see if we got our event handlers handling. Let's see. We're hovering, we're mousing over, we're not doing anything. That's good. You guys can't see this again, darn it. I'm gonna make this really narrow so we can see both. Okay. So we're hovering, nothing happens. We're down, mouse moving, and mouse up. Okay. Then we're down, we're moving, we're up. What if I just do down and up? Okay, I think we got it. Down. That was the kick. The event listener add and remove needed to reference something so that it knew what was being added and what was being removed. You can't just call it by name. It won't know what to do. Learning. Groovy. All right, so we can move now. Can we actually drag? Let's see. Can we drag in 4 minutes? That'll get us to the halfway mark of the show. And here's our move. Very similar to what Tony had out here for us. We're going to have a handle mouse down move. And I almost feel like we could grab a lot of this. I think we need these start in new positions X and Y as property. What is going on? I am killing Visual Studio Code. Here we go. All right, we're going to take these properties and put them in our component if my browser will allow me to click something. If it'll let me do anything. Whatever amount of memory I had in the... it just doesn't want to let me click that stuff. That's really weird. Maybe there was just something... Oh, it's probably a header. Kind of invisible that I couldn't click around. Okay. Let's put these properties out here. I'm just going to use them verbatim. Okay. So now I'm just gonna borrow Tony's code here, right? Because that's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see how this actually moves with all of the components within it. I wonder if the browser will care. Is it really just seeing it as moving one element on the page, or is it one element with 40,000 elements inside of it? All right, we need a bunch of thises in front of each of these. I'm curious what E client X and E client Y will have in them. That could be another spot that's a little, maybe a little wonky. So why don't we, we can probably stop logging mouse.move. Let's log those two values. Hopefully it's okay. I think client X and client Y are like, regardless of what's nested where, it's, you know, no joke what's in the browser. But I don't know. Let's see. Save that. Okay, we'll refresh this. Loading. Sometimes, I don't know why, it's just easier to close the browser and start it up again, which I think, again, is a testament to the giant component that we're dragging around here. All right. Once this gets going, we're gonna see what happens. Any minute now. It's curious because it was definitely faster before. I don't know that we're doing anything that would make it slower right now. Haven't really made any changes that I can think of that would cause that. In fact, I think having the container around this that we're moving is only have to attach one event listener there. But this is kind of wild. It's initialized, now it's trying to render everything. So, come on. These are not our errors. All right, maybe we're sunk here. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to move Tony off screen because I don't want to lose his tab, but I think I'm going to close and reopen the... Yeah, we're struggling. We're struggling. There it goes. Whew! Wow. Wowzers. We're out there almost 2 minutes. Just waiting for our page to load. What? Just looking through our... I mean, it's obvious rendering this thing is a beast. So, all right, but we should have all systems go that we can hopefully hopefully drag this thing. I don't know. Let's find out. I'm nervous. Gonna hover over, mouse down. Yeah. Okay, we're not dragging. Definitely. We getting anything out of that? We got a lot of... Oh, wait a minute. I think I know why. Because EL is nothing, right? This is not... EL is not useful. All right, first things first. Let's just kill this browser window because we are giving it a really hard time. We will reopen that in a second. Okay. Whew. It's probably like, thank goodness you're done. No, that has to be this .container element, not EL. That's what you get for just stealing other people's code. Lesson learned. Yeah, this is this dot. Container element. That might help a little bit. I didn't look enough to see if, but it's interesting. There weren't a bunch of errors complaining about how EL didn't exist. Oops. All right, let's try this again. Okay. Back over to our app, to our icon. That was super quick. That seemed weird how fast that was. I wonder, does the console or the inspector like really put a hurting on this on performance? I mean, I know it does, to some extent. It just might be really a lot. Okay, I think we have our updated code, so can we drag this thing? We still cannot drag this thing. Okay. Got a lot of numbers, so that's cool. But let's go in here. I'm just going to drop a breakpoint in here somewhere, and hopefully it will actually break for us. Yes, it does. So what did we end up with here? We had 256x, 286y. That's where I clicked. And then we had what were our start positions? Oh, are we actually setting our start positions? I think are we? Do we have to? I guess that's the... They're 0. They're just 0. So yeah, I don't think we have to set those. So new position X, new position Y. Then we reset our start positions. Now hold on. Container element is undefined at this point. So that's curious. Why is that? Huh. Is it because of how we had to reference this? That it no longer has no, I'd like to, let's refresh and then debug up here and see if these are all undefined as well. Okay, let's refresh. I almost feel like I need to turn off the inspector, refresh the page, turn the inspector. Now that wasn't terrible. I just wonder why it gets bogged down as time goes on. Okay, so we're gonna mouse down. We're gonna move. We get our X and our Y. Yeah, see, these are all undefined. We don't. I think because of the way we're calling this, we're losing context of this. So how do we call? How do we pass a method reference without losing this context? I guess that's our next magic trick. Because if we don't know what this is inside of here, then we don't really have context of anything anymore. We're out of the loop. So how do we see? JavaScript. Whoops. JavaScript. Add event listener. Pass method. This. Can I pass this to the event listener, I guess. Why not just get the arguments from the target attribute? So he passed some functions, so he doesn't want to do that. I wonder, you can just bind all necessary arguments with bind. Do we need to use bind? Is that this bind? What's that third parameter out here? I think we forgot prevent default in our call as well. I don't think that has anything to do with this because we're still just losing context. But got some strange friends in the in the chat window today. I'm guessing not real humans. All right. To use past jobs parameter. Bind with add event listener. Let's see. You can still use event.target and can get access to the clicked element. Can call bind. I think this is basically where I'm at, right? So I want to add event listener, click, change, and then we lose this. Right? So you could apply. That's not the problem. That solves the problem, but that's not. Passing this argument to add event listener without using bind. Okay. Your combination of wanting to use remove event listener and control the this pointer means that you have to create a stub function to pass your add event listener, and remember that stub function for use of the remove, there isn't any alternative. Okay. I think the answer is bind. Well, this is curious. Handle event. Maybe we can just do this. This dot. This is where JavaScript gets kooky for me, ladies and gentlemen, but I'll give it a shot. So I think we're gonna create, hopefully if we use bind, we can retain the this in our variable, it passes the variable, and maybe the world's a happy place. This definitely gets into strange territory for me, but I'm willing to give this a shot. And then if that doesn't work, this is really curious. I've never seen this handle event. Let's see, what do you got here? You got an object, and then handle event. So just passing the whole object into these listeners. And then when you add event listener, it looks like it registers that. It is the something object. Note that the event that the listeners in this case are this, not this dot handle event. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see if my trick worked, and if my trick doesn't work, then we'll try another trick. Are we refreshing? There it goes. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully our this comes back to life. It did, yay. Okay. Got our container element. All right, so that may have, we retained our, I probably could have just I probably don't even need to create handler. I could have just called this inside. I forget about bind. Like that's it. It resuscitates the thisness of your calls. JavaScript is whoop. Well, it went somewhere. It went far, far away. I wonder where it is. I wonder if we can drag it back into place here. Where did you go? Lost forever. I have a feeling that I need to set maybe. Well, let's step through it again and see what is it. I'm going to try to click in the very top left corner so I can understand what is X and Y that's coming in. Is it relative to, is it the page or the window or the container or what? All right. Get our, let's stop right here. I'm going to drag like pretty close to the edge. Oops, didn't do anything. What happened? Boop. Okay. 69 and 240. Why is 240? Okay, so that is the browser. That's where we are in the browser. So 69 over, that makes sense. I'm trying to point at the screen and y'all can't see that. That makes sense for probably around here, left to right, and then 240 top down right there. Okay. Our start position, we're 0 and 0. I feel like that's wrong. I am not sure if that's like where it should, where that should really be at. Our container element, if I look down further though, our container element doesn't actually have a top or a left right now. Does it have an offset? Okay, it has an offset top and left, which is relative to its container. It's 50 down and 50 over. We haven't done any of the math yet, so let's step through this. So the starting position was 0 minus 69, so that should now be negative 69 is the new position. That seems off, but okay. And then our new position Y is negative 240. We've gone in the opposite direction on both counts. So we're resetting those to our starting position. I don't see, those starting positions don't make any sense to me. They're like way over there. But now we're going to use, let's see. So now, all right. We got those numbers that see, wait a minute. Okay, so now our starting position is where we just clicked. So for next time, we remember those, but in the meantime, we're saying take the offset top of this container. I thought these were here. Yeah, 50. So take 50, subtract 240, and go over that way. So our top should now be like negative. Our top should be like negative 190. That's off the screen. that doesn't seem right. And then our left should be negative 69. Now, I could live with negative 69 moving it that way because we still should see some of the component, but I think our top left is that's just wrong. So maybe we should go back to Tony's article and see what's going on. But anyway, we're moving it. We're just not moving it in any way that makes sense. I feel like the start position has to be something different. I'm going to fire up that article again and see what's going on. Because this is going to disappear, right? This is going to go to I think, way up here somewhere off screen. We can't see it anymore. And if that's the math that it's going to keep running, then it's not going to, we're never going to get it back. So here it goes, disappear. Pew, goodbye forever. All right. All right, Tony, let's get your article back out here. Show me what's, what did we miss? All right, top and left, height and width, drag functionality. This one works, really nice. Oh, well, duh. Would you look at that? Also, we need to prevent default. So in our mouse down, I got so stressed out about mouse down, like working, that we forgot some very important properties here that need to be dealt with. We can probably stop writing all this mouse down, mouse up business. We know it works now, but we do need to set these values, right? Start X, start Y, and this should be mouse down event. Okay. That should help. That should make the math make sense. We shall see. Refresh. I think this is going to be it. I'm feeling really good. I think this is going to be the one. Make sure we don't have any dumb errors out here. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Let's do the same thing just for fun. Let's kind of observe what happens here. Boop. Okay. 70 and Y is 239. All right, look, starting position 69 minus 70 moves us -1, right? That's the net change. Okay. And then 239, 230. We actually didn't move in the Y direction at all. So that's 0. That's cool. So this is good. These numbers are really manageable. So we're now going to reset our starting position for the next time this runs to those two values. We went from, where do we go? We went from 69 and 239. Now we're going to go to 70 and 239. Okay. But now we need to deal with the offset of the element, which we took off our starting position minus our these have now been reset, so they're a little bit off, but this will say new position X or new position Y, no change, new position X, -1, compensate with the offset. We should get our left and our right. This thing should move a pixel. And it did. It did it. Yay! Okay, so now I feel like I can actually drag this thing around. Oh boy. I think we have an event listener that's not really listening. Go over there. That's interesting. Like it moves, but I have to stay, and my mouse clicked up right now, so that's a little funky, but I guess maybe we have to still check those event handlers again after all. All right, so if I drag here, go over this way. Yep. It is choppy. It is real choppy. I'm guessing the size of just the sheer number of elements underneath here, because everything has to kind of, compensate. We can still check box or check icons though. That's cool. But yeah, it's pretty chop. Uh, uh, uh. It's probably not just the stream that's choppy. It's the entire component. Yeah. Good to know, I guess, when you've got a component that's got 40,000 child, you've got an element on the page that's got 40,000 child elements in it. It's hard to move. And but it's moving. It's moving, ladies and gentlemen. I'm stoked. This took a minute to get here. And it turns out I just couldn't get my Google foo down good enough to get to Tony's excellent article. I didn't go through the breakdown. I think it's self-explanatory. Yeah, self-explanatory. When a dum-dum like me goes through it on screen with you, there you have it. We're dragging. It's awful. 40,000 pixels. Little rough, but we're dragging. All right. Okay. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break and eat a banana. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to take a look a little bit at HTML Canvas and see what can we do with Canvas inside of LWC. Which might mean we have to put this component to sleep for a second and see if we can get something working to render a canvas for us. Because I've never done Canvas, and I've certainly never done Canvas in LWC. I'm curious how this is all going to work, but stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we're back. Okay. Well, that was some fun. We have a draggable icon in a view box. And boy, is it a little rough to drag. Now, okay, so for what it's worth, oops, it's a little sensitive. For what it's worth, I can drag with a little bit more fidelity now that the the browser inspector is off. It's still not great. It might be kind of cool to, have like a shadow effect, like instead of, dragging all 40,000 pixels around, when you mouse down, it creates creates a container, a new container, lays it on top of the current container. So then you can drag that around, and that is just one element. And then when you're done, the only hit that you take is removing the rest of it around. That could work. And then I want to do one more thing. I'm just gonna close my other browser tabs here and then refresh this without the inspector open, just to understand performance 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I cursed it. 8. Okay. 8 seconds is better than 60. That happens when we have the inspector open. I'm still not stoked about performance, but I feel a little bit better. Certainly. And I guess the other thing that we're probably taking a hit on, which maybe is also good for comparison, is what if we turn lightning debugging off? Let's do that just for fun. Right? I want to see, I know this is not scientific at all, but if lightning debugger was off, would performance change there as well? Because, if maybe the performance isn't terrible, maybe I still want to explore Canvas for a little bit while we're on stream here, but maybe performance isn't awful, at least for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think it really matters. So lightning debugger may not, it's certainly not going to impact the, well, maybe it helps a little bit, but the problem is as soon as you get out of the, leave the, and that may be, I'm trying to think if attaching the mouse over perhaps to the outer container would give us more space, and we wouldn't have this worry about stepping outside of the box. Like if I go like this, I'm out of the box, and I'm out of the container. I'm still in the view. So I wonder if I attached those event handlers to the view, would we have a little bit more control, or would we, would it respond a little bit better? Can I do that quickly though? Let's see. We have our container element. We would also need our view element, and then we're really setting all these onto the view element. Maybe I'll try that off. Maybe I'll try that off stream, so we're not stuck in that for today. I'll take a note. We'll put it in our README. Add event listeners to parent view component to help with mouse move control, ? We'll see. All right, canvas. I'm going to start where anybody who has no idea what they're doing starts. And that's W3 schools. Okay. There's a tag called a canvas, and you can draw it, and it makes a canvas. Always specify an ID and a width and a height. To add a border, use a style. Okay. Draw a line. See, this is what I think is interesting. Like, the canvas is just a canvas, but I'm curious if the level of control, perhaps, and maybe does canvas, let's see, HTML canvas performance priority? Optimizing canvas, improving canvas, measure performance, rendering canvas, unleash the power of hardware accelerated canvas. Yeah, give me that. Give me the make faster button. Oh, they're literally... Joke's on me. There is a button that does that. Is that literally what we're trying to talk about here? Most readers are essentially a function of archive, a browser that works to make it perform well. See, I mean, people make games in Canvas, so wouldn't that like lend itself to maybe being more performant? But do I literally need to check this box to make it perform better? I would hope not. Making accelerator acceleration fast. Like, does this even matter anymore, right? Does the do the details, are hypothetically we're saying, hey, yo, server, go give me all this data, and then do we live in a better place when we say, hey, yo, browser, render this stuff in a canvas? I guess we're going to find out, right? There's nothing. Canvas slowly degrades in performance after a while. WebGL versus Canvas, top comparisons with. I don't think we're going to go to OpenGL. All right, well, you know what? We're mucking about. Let's have a little muck around time here. Like I said, I think I'm just gonna. First of all, I want to see, like, does this even render? So instead of doing icon flex here, we'll put this. Give that a little break. Let's add a canvas. Let's make it the same dimensions, right? Say ID equals, I don't know, canvas 1, width equals 400, height equals 100. Boom. What else can we do to a canvas? To add a border, use a style attribute. Okay, we'll give it a border. Style equals border solid 2 pixel C, make it red. Okay. Nothing in it yet. Let's just see what this renders. Can we even do a canvas in an LWC? I hope so. I don't see why we couldn't. Now, this component is still getting, yeah, yes, we can. Okay. Still getting all the data. Ooh, can I drag it around? Still work. Look at how much faster that is. I don't have to worry about where I place the event handler when it works normal, right? When you're not dragging around 40,000 pixels inside of your one container, moves just fine. So, all right, we're learning. There's a canvas. We can canvas in LWC. Groovy. Now what? Now we want to. I don't really want to draw a line. I want to draw a pixel, right? So I kind of get it here. Let's see, in our script, we're gonna get our element. I wonder if we have to do get element by ID or if we can use a query selector again. Get context. I don't know what that means. I need to look that up. I'm guessing we're talking about 2-dimensional stuff here, so we'll say 2D. Linear grid. I'm digressing here a little bit. Just want to see what the other examples looked like. Let's go with the simple example of drawing a line. All right. Context equals, this must be like what plane, are you using a 2-dimensional or a 3-dimensional, like, mapping plane? I'm out of my element here, but I'm guessing that's what it means. All right. And then it's like logo, right? Move the turtle to 0, 0, draw a line to 200, 100, and then actually, draw the line. Okay. How about, can you look at HTML canvas draw pixel? That's really what we want to do. What's the best way to set a single pixel in an HTML5 canvas? Pixel manipulation with canvas. Let's try there. Until now, we haven't looked at actual pixels. With image data, you can directly read and write a data array to manipulate pixel data. Okay. That sounds like what we're doing. The image data represents the underlying pixel data of an area of the canvas object contains the following attributes. Do. Okay. The data returns a uint8 clamped array. Oh boy. Which can be accessed to look at the raw pixel data. Each pixel is represented by 4 1-byte values. Okay, I had to dust off some computer science books to figure this out, but okay. Given a set of coordinates. For example, to read the blue component's value from the pixel at column 200, row 50, exactly what we're doing, you would do this. Blue component equals image data at 50. Oh, I see. Contains the U8 clamped array contains height by width by 4 bytes of data with the index values ranging from 0 to height times width. That's our height. Is that our height? Times width. Whew, all right, this is special. Getting the pixel data for a context. Get image data, left top width height. So this method returns an image data object representing the pixel data for an area of the canvas whose corners are represented by top and left. I see. So that would be a color picker. In this example, we're using the get image data to display the color under the mouse cursor. That sounds like what we're doing. Get bounding client rectangle. Get image data. Yeah. That's the pixel. RGB A. Style that back. Okay, yeah. Look at that. It's like this was written for us, except I have no idea how to use any of this. Painting pixel data into a context. You can use the put image data method to paint pixel data into a context. Okay. My image dx and dy parameters indicate the device coordinates within the context at which to paint the top left corner of the pixel data you wish to draw. For example, to paint the entire image represented by my image data to the top left corner of the context, you can do the following. Grayscaling and inverting. That doesn't really tell me a whole lot. Use put image data. Okay. What was this? Grayscaling and inverting. Neat. I don't need to do that. Zooming. And anti-aliasing. Yep. I need to do that. Want to do that too. Oh, look at that. That's exactly what we want to do, isn't it? I feel like Canvas might be what we're looking for our little icon editor situation here. And I don't want image smoothing. I just want big fat pixels. So, okay. Saving images provides a to data URL, which is useful when saving images. Returns a data URL containing a representation of the image in the format specified by the type parameter. Well, hey. Now I wonder, what could we do? What kind of damage could we do with that? If we could generate a image based on our pixels, could we always be storing a version of the image that we can serve up to anyone else who looks at the icon? And then as the icon changes, that component can react, or a streaming API event can occur to any component that's looking at it, and they'll say, hey, no, use this Use this now instead. Okay, this is cool. Right? I don't exactly know how to read. Well, let's see. This is a great example of reading a color, but I kind of need to write them out, right? So when we first load up painting pixel data into a context, put image data. I'm going to click into this. Rendering context 2D. So that must be the whole context thing at the start. Put image data. Image data. The image data containing the array of pixel values. All right. Got an example. Image data. Creates an image data object from a given clamped array and the size of the image it contains. If no array is given, it creates an image of a transparent black rectangle. Note that this is the most common way to create such an object in workers, as create image data is not available there. Create image data. What's that do? Returns a new blank image data object with the specified dimensions. Okay, so that's our image, right? Width and height is our icon dimensions. The settings, the color space, the RGB, okay. Image data, an existing image data object from which to copy. The image itself is not copied, okay. New image data object with the height and width. All right, cool. So we get an image data back from that. And then put image data into it. The image data. So this is the object that we're dealing. So that's the thing that we got back. Horizontal position at which to place the image data in the destination canvas. Oh. So I'm not manipulating. Back here, though, we can iterate over all pixels to change their values, and then we put the modified pixel array back to the canvas using put image data. The invert function so what are we doing here? We have an image. We don't really have an image in our world. That's not a thing yet. Maybe we will at some point. So we have the canvas. We get that. We set our context. We draw the image into the canvas at 0, 0. So basically take this rhino and drop it in our canvas. Okay, cool. Original. Maintain that. Yep. Okay. Invert. Draws the image. And then image data equals get image data. All right. From 0 to get the whole thing. Right. Data equals the data. Now, so interesting. It's just an array. It uses the dimensions to wrap it. So, all right, cool. Because we have like X and Y coordinates. And I was, again, on my drive last week, I was thinking, do we really need X and Y? Or do you just need like top left to bottom right? Because they all just follow each other. I don't care. What sets the context for the dimensions is the container. So we wouldn't really need X and Y on our pixels anymore. Judging by this, we don't really need our pixels anymore, which should be pretty interesting. So I think this is going to get fun. This is a little confusing in the way that this data gets stored, but nonetheless, what's happening here? We invert, draw the rhino, get all the rhino data. get the data out of the Rhino, loop over the data, plus equals 4. Okay, so this is, because every pixel, I see. Every pixel has 4 elements, just like it was telling us up above, right? Yeah, that doesn't help me a whole lot. I got to read a little bit more about clamped arrays. But okay, this is the data. The data property returns an array which can be accessed to look at raw pixel data. Each pixel is represented by 4 1-byte values, red, green, blue, alpha, in that order. That's RGBA. Okay, so in our example, that's why it's stepping every 4. And then within each 4 quartet, within each quartet, I'm like way off camera here, guys. Sorry, I'm way down here. Within each quartet, go back and find the color that you're looking for. So red, green, blue, alpha. Okay, so, and then what do those look like? Let's go back down to our inverted Rhino. Here we're inverting, so if this is 0, equals 255 minus, so that's the inversion, right? Start at 255 and flip the value. So it's stepping through basically all the pixels. It's stepping through all the pixels. Imagine that. This is way better. I mean, I haven't even scratched the surface at this yet, but I think this is going to be awesome for our antics, our pixel editing, our icon editing antics. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Okay, so at least it's clear now. I understand that we can, we're going to generate an empty, our context is the thing, right? And we're going to get the image data out of that. We need like a blank image to start. We want the whole, top left to bottom right. We're going to loop over that, which is actually, we're looping in sets of 4 through that because we have red, green, blue, and alpha data. Alpha, we're just going to probably leave it 100% for now. And then it looks like we're building, oh, I see. It's just, in this case, it's just flipping in the spot. So what'll be interesting is to be able to figure out when I click here in the component, can I get the X and Y, which I think we see further down in that example. I get the X and Y. I can pinpoint where that is in the image data, get the value that it currently is, or set it to something and update the data array. And hey, maybe this will perform a heck of a lot better than 40,000 elements on a page. And maybe we don't need to do pixels anymore. Maybe we can actually save our image data. That would be sweet. I got to head to another meeting. It was great hanging out and doing You Can't Do That on Salesforce with y'all today. Tune in tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, rock, paper, scissors. Tune in Thursday, 1 o'clock, Forceopoly, totally not Monopoly, totally is Monopoly, on Salesforce platform. Thanks for hanging out and watching me scratch my head. We figured out how to move something in a window. I think Canvas is going to be super cool for the icon editor, and hope to see you next time.